I'm Eileen Hull, and I am here to walk you through how to assemble my new Chapter 2 release. This is called the card case, and it is about 4.5 by 3.5, and it can vary from 1/2 inch to 2.5 inches thick. So I just want to show you what the die looks like. So as you can see, it is a Biggs XL die, which means you can cut a bunch of different materials. If you want to cut fabric, felt, mat board, chipboard, cork, metal, you name it, pretty much anything scissors can cut. So the difference between these dies and others is that they're called scoreboards dies. So they have steel rule blades set inside here in the middle. Those will make your score lines. Okay, so they will not cut all the way through. They will only cut about halfway. So when you see them, you can just fold over very easily and make the whole thing go together really quickly. So you can see on here, I have one piece. This is the cover, and you're going to cut this twice. We have 2 little buttons we're going to need if you decide to use them for the closure, and then this is the pocket. So again, you can decide if you want to cut 1 or 2 to put in the book. Okay, so you'll notice on my die a couple things that look a little different. I've written front and back, and the reason is if I cut this out of a design that has a directional print or text on it, you don't want to cut it the wrong way, because when you go to put this together, you're going to butt these spines up together, and that means you're going to rotate this piece around. So if you cut them both the same, one is going to be going one way, one's going to go the other way. So to correct that, or prevent me from doing it, although I have done it, I write front here, and then when I turn it and it says back, my writing is going to go that way. So that helps me to remember. So don't be afraid to write on your die if it can help you to not make a mistake. All right, now the other thing that I did was I put foam on here, because anytime I have little tiny circles, if I have sharp angles, like maybe right here, sometimes because we're cutting thick material, it tends to get clogged up. So what I did to fix that was I just put a little piece of foam. I have double-sided tape underneath. I stuck it on here and I cut it. And this helps pieces to eject easier. So here's what the die looks like. Now let's go ahead and cut one. So I'm going to take a piece of mat board, either side, it doesn't matter, and I'm going to cover my design with the mat board. I'm going to put my cutting pad on top and run that through. And we'll need to do that twice to make a complete book. Now we'll talk about options for this in a little bit. I'm just going to back this up because it's just easier to bring it back to me, but you only need to run it through once. Okay. So here's what we get. All right, you get your cover, which, you know, we need 2 of those. And we need your little pocket. And you can use 1 or 2 of those. Okay, so let's get our pieces. Now, if you wanted to cut a bunch more buttons, you could use this strip here. And mat board is really easy to use. You can just kind of tear that apart with your fingers, and you could get a whole bunch of buttons out of that extra piece. So I like to keep them if practical. Okay, so now I've already cut another piece. So now I want to show you how to put this together. It really is very easy. Here is another set of cuts. And my little circle. Oops. Okay. So I have 2 buttons, I have 2 pockets, and 2 covers. All right. So let's fold these up. What I normally recommend is that you fold these over your table. And the reason that I say that is so that you get even pressure on each fold. If you don't, they can lift up, and you don't want to do that. So you could either press like that, or you could lay it over your table. Just make sure you get nice clean score lines. And then I do go ahead and fold them all the way over. And what that does is it breaks the fibers of the mat board and it makes it easier to use. Okay, but same with chipboard. I'm using a heavy weight. What is recommended for the die that you have a depth of about 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so here's our little pocket. Let's do the other one. I'm going to do that over the ledge of my table here, and then I'll show you what I have. And this just takes a second. Really, you could make this book in, I'm not kidding, like 10 minutes. So it's that easy. And we all like easy, right? And foolproof. Okay, so I'm just making sure to bend them all the way over. Then they're not going to want to spring open on you. Okay, so now we have our two pockets. You can use your tape or you could use glue to put these onto your book, but let's put the book together first, okay? Now, I want to show you all the different options for this book. When you cut them, you're going to have two, and all you're going to do to make this little card case is to rotate one and bring these spines up together. Then you're going to adhere them. So again, you can either use your glue or your red line tape, however you want to do it. Just make sure that it's a strong adhesive. Okay, and then you're just going to fold on these score lines. When I'm putting my book together, what I usually do is on the side that I've decided to be the front, I roll my spine around that. Now, another thing that you can do is if maybe you don't want a book that's this thick, maybe you only have a couple things to put in there. You can chop off this, and overlap these two spines, and you have a skinny little book. You can also chop off these flaps if you just want to make like a little notebook. You know, you're totally adjustable however you want to do it, okay? But I will say, if you want to put the pockets in here, you do need to use at least 3 spines. You can also make it bigger if you want to lay it down here and make a larger spine, or even that, which comes to, I think, 2.5 inches. Let's see. Yep, 2.5 inches. So, you know, this can go from 1/2 inch to 2.5 inches wide. If I did that, I might want to stitch down here, or maybe reinforce this with another panel, just so that it looks the same and doesn't have a bump here. You probably wouldn't notice it, but it's up to you. Okay, so let's do this. All right, let's see how our glue, yay. And you want to make sure your spine is pretty strong, so I put a good bit of glue on there. And then you just press this over it and make sure it's straight. You could also do it like this and make sure that your book will open like that, and there's no problem with this opening and closing, okay? And you could clip these if you want to make sure you have good adhesion, but I think we're good. So the next thing we're going to do, see, we have our little book here, and we're just going to put a pocket in. Now, you can put the pocket in this side or you can put it on that side. It doesn't matter. There's going to be room. And there's even room for like another little booklet if you wanted to do that. Let's try this with glue. Now, something else I do sometimes is I will peel off a little bit of this mat board to reduce the bulk. But today I'm just going to place that in there, okay? And I think I will go with inside pocket today. And then I would probably just let this sit for a minute and set, you know, before I move it around too much. Just make sure that you get this flat and at a 90-degree angle, okay? Just like that. Okay, and then the next one you can put on this side if you want. Let's try that and see how it comes out. You have a minute to kind of let it settle. All right, isn't this going fast? So fun. You can put all kinds of things in here. Your journaling cards, you know, it's 3.5 by 4.5, so you have plenty of room in there. You could put little photos. You could make a little album. So many fun things with this book. All right, just make sure you get it. I would take my bone folder and just smooth it down and make sure these are sitting, you know, on your surface and that they are glued down, okay? So look at this. How cute is that? But see how there's still room that if you want to put like a little booklet or something on the other side, you could do that. It'd be so easy. And there are 2 other dies that go with this set, and they look like this. There is a pocket. This is called Journaling Card, Envelope, and Window. And this is the mini slimline and tickets. So these will work really well with this book also. One of the dies in here is a journaling card, which you can see right here. So those will fit in the pockets there, or you could do your artist trading cards. You could do pieces of this. These are so much fun. I'm going to do another video with these. But basically, that is how the book goes together. Okay, and then to make your closure, what you're going to do is just position these on your box however you'd like. You know, across from each other. Take your pokey tool and make a light poke. And then I just poke them through on the other side. I should have probably done this before I put my pockets on, but you can always adjust, right? Everything is adjustable. Thank the Lord. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of make these thicker so I can bring my string through. So once you have the holes punched, what I like to do is go underneath and put my button on. And I have knotted the back of this because I'm going to want to get underneath and kind of bump this up a little bit. So I'm going to bring this up under here and wrap this around so that it's not, it's raised up a little bit so it can accept twine from the other side. So it's a little bumpy, but I think it helps in the long run make it easier to close your book. You could cover that with like a little flower or something. I'm looking for my little orange scissors and I can never find them when I want them. Small because it's going to be sticking out of the book. So we'll do the same thing again. And we're going to bring this up on the opposite side. And we're going to wrap it around a couple times. And run that through here. And then that will be our string that we use to close the book. See how it's raised up so it's easier to get that under there. And then you would just cut this, and then you could add like a little charm or something over here so it has a little weight to it, and it's not just flying around like that. But that's all there is to it. That's how you make your book. So of course these are really fun to decorate, and you can add your pattern papers, you can add whatever you like to it. If you like to stencil or stamp, ink, distress, jelly plate, anything you want to do, you can do on this mat board. It is such a great surface to accept different mediums. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you like making this book. We have the Eileen Hall fan club. That's a creative community over on Facebook where we share lots of tips and tricks and ideas and fellowship. So we'd love if you would join. Also, I do Facebook Lives on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock Eastern and Thursdays at 4 o'clock Eastern. So come on over there with us and you'll see a lot more ideas and ways to use this die, because my goal is when I design a die, I want 3 ways that you can use it. So we will be exploring that in the next couple months. Okay, so thanks so much for watching, everybody. See you soon.